Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 2 of a best of 3 between Karma and Pixy in the second semi-final in Season 3 of the Steel Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Sianno, and they have both decided once again to play on the Allied side. So, on our left in the red team we have Karma playing with the 184th Rifles and the flatline deployment type. And on our right in the blue team we have Pixy playing with the 2nd Armoured French and the flatline deployment type. So Karma took the first game in this best of 3. Pixie's going to have to do all he can to stay in this best of 3 series, otherwise he'll be going to the 3rd place final and Karma will be moving on. Karma of course going to want to solidify that, and this matchup is quite interesting. Let's have a look at some of these divisions. So first of all, the 184th Rifles. The 184th is quite a nice division because it has an abundance of infantry in the form of the Strelki, but it can also back it up with the use of the Stuarts in the early game. If it comes up against anything harder to deal with, it can bring in an ISU 122 or maybe a couple if they are brought in phase B. And then it also has the support weapons and all the usual snipers, flamers, PTRS squads, all that good stuff. So it's a very strong division in 1v1. On the side of the 2nd Armoured, we've seen the 2nd Armoured plenty of times. It does have the M8 Greyhounds, which are really good for pushing in fast at the start of the game and picking off enemy transports, and also just dealing a significant amount of damage to enemy armor if they're micro correctly. And then there's of course the Shermans that back those up, and some pretty solid infantry as well. Just a little bit of a lack of availability, but you can kind of make up for that a little bit in the support tab with the use of flamers, with the use of MGs. So 2nd Armoured here, another strong division. Let's have a look at what's going down on the field. So on our left here for Karma, he's going to be starting with the sniper and 2 Tanko Desaniki. 2 snipers actually there with the 45mm AT gun, and of course the Stuarts. Further down there's going to be 3 flamers, actually 2 flamers with a sniper, 45mm AT gun, BA-10M, M5, and also a Valentine 9. Interesting to see a Valentine 9. Pretty good at taking on medium armor. Further down we do see 2 more flamers, sniper, 45mm AT gun, BA-10M. Going to be 3 units of Strelki, 2 of them with the DP, extra DP machine gun, and the Avto to back that up. Veterans here is something that Karma used really well previously, so it looks like he's going to be trying to do that again. All these Avtos here going to be coming in with 2-star veterancy thanks to the leader of the M3S, and then there's also a leader infantry and the BA-10M. You do see an IL-2KR at the start as well. This is good for strafing enemy planes. Oh no, this is an off-map aircraft from Pixy, but of course Karma started with the IL-2 recon plane, and well, Pixie's going to be losing his off-map right at the start of the game. That is devastating. Big old point investment going down. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the map we have Pixy engaging Karma's transports. You can see the M8 picking off the Ognemachiki there. The sniper forced to unload early. Looks like the 45 also returns a kill onto the flamethrowers. So flamethrowers leading M8s on this top side with voltages and a 57mm AT gun. Into the town it's going to be 2 M8s followed up by 3 units of voltages and an M4A2, and then on the bottom it's going to be 2 M8s, make that 3 M8s charging forwards with a bunch of voltages in half tracks, some sapirs and 2 M4A2s. So Pixy here really going for a strong bottom side push, has lightly pushed the top side but did manage to get into position on the edge of the hill. Will probably relinquish 1 flag in that position, but definitely going to be taking an offensive flag on the bottom side. The BA-10M actually misses the chance to kill off one of these infantry squads in the half track. The IL-2 here, I think it strafed one of them, and the other one's going to get taken out by the Strelki DP with those AT rifles. So the M8s haven't really had that much of an impact so far, but push is coming in here on the bottom side. The M3S is actually a really good vehicle for cleaning up a lot of this armor because it has both the 37mm turret and the 75mm gun. So really nice stuff. IL-2 coming in with the strafe and run again. onto these armoured vehicles. Oh, that's a lovely crit from the 50 cals though. That's going to be a weapon jam onto the IL-2. Karma's going to want to get that out of there. Voltages in the centre, being a bit cheeky, just pushing up, capturing a flag. Pixy does have the 14 to 10 at the moment, so nicely done so far. But these voltages, they aren't surviving very well. There's multiple defensive Avtos in position, and the voltages at close range really don't deal with those very well. The M1 Garans can be really good at distance if they've got some decent veterancy to back them up. But in this case, the Avtos with the 10 submachine guns really putting in work. Now the two M4A1s have caught up, so the M5s and the M3S are not really suited to taking those out. The M5s are a great response to the M8 Greyhounds, and so is the M3S, but the M4A2s really do make it a lot easier to push through here. However, Karma does have an Avto still hidden very close to this M4A2, might be able to catch that out. If he can get line of sight and push onto it, maybe we'll see some kills. Karma's going to be pulling on round, going to be forcing Pixy to push up even more aggressively. It looks like the Avtos have been found. Voltages might not win that engagement though. With the help of the voltages from a distance, looks like the Avtos should go down. Now the M4 is going to be engaging the M3S, do take out one. There's still the leader there though. See if the Shermans can do any damage. I very much doubt it. This is 3 though. Taking out both of the M8 Greyhounds. Nicely done. So yeah, Pixie's still pushing forwards aggressively, but a 45mm on the way. You do see 2 Valentine 9s coming down here as well, with an abundance of infantry to back things up. So I think Karma has realized the investment of forces by Pixy on this bottom side and has decided to reply and react accordingly. Oh, was that an M3S side shot onto the M4? A rear shot even. Nicely done. And now this M3S also putting significant pressure onto the other M4A2. Unless that was actually in fact the 45mm AT gun that got the kill there. Either way, one of the M4A2s going down is trouble for Pixy. The ZIS-3 is trying to move through here to engage. Will bump into the voltages though, so that's not going to be too helpful. Avtos double teaming voltages. Yeah, that's not very fun for Pixy, but the sappers might be able to get a grenade off that will help out. The 45mm and the M5 do have shots onto the reinforcements. Also the IL-2 coming in for strafing runs onto these half-tracks and open-top vehicles. Meanwhile here, we see the half-track moving up. It is going to discover the flamer unit. So nice use of the half-track in the middle by Pixy, just to try and probe and make his way forwards. Sappers do take out the M5 Stuart and have also managed to blow up one of the Avto units. The Avto Comrotti at the back is under threat by this Voltage unit, so that's probably going to go down as well. And it seems as though Pixy is starting to get a foothold on this side of the map. Sapper is now going to be engaging Strelki DP at range. Strelki DP are really tough to beat at medium range. If they can use their SVTs, the Sappers are in trouble. You can see just how quickly these guys are getting chewed up. 3 units, not only are they outnumbered, but these Strelki DP squads have 9 SVTs, which are some of the best Soviet mid-range rifles. Well, they are the best range Soviet rifle. So, there we go. Voltages on the top side going to get picked off before they unload. Looks like Pixy brought those in to try and contest that flag, but hasn't really been paying attention. Too much intensity on the bottom side is keeping him distracted. Avtos are going to take a grenade to the face, do get surrendered, nicely done. So Pixy is holding his ground, but with both the M4s going down here, he's been forced to reinforce with another one and another M8 Greyhound. But these Valentines are proving a pain in the ass. Nice thing about the Valentines, they have very good rate of fire, but also superb penetration. So they can do a lot of damage to the M4s. This 45, I'm surprised it's not firing. I think it might have just taken out that half track. It's now going to turn to fire at the M4. All the jizz on top side still haven't been unloaded. Karma's bringing in some reinforcements here. He's got a Valentine on the way. with the Strelki DP. Looks like one of his Stuarts at the start didn't end up moving. Unless he like brought that back to the spawn for whatever moment, for whatever reason. M4 does take out the 45. Looks like the BA-10M and M3S kill off that Greyhound. And I think the biggest thing that we've seen so far in this matchup is that Karma's 184th Rifles has completely countered the use of M8 Greyhounds, which is what makes the second French really, really strong. And although Pixy did make a lot of ground, his units are starting to get broken down, and another M4 does die on this bottom side. Strelki now moving in to engage the Sappers. The Sappers aren't in range to use their grenades, their HE, TNT, so that's sort of taking away their effectiveness. They are only 25 points, but those HE shells are, or the HE TNT is like really, really important in these engagements. Strelki picking off the half tracks here. BA-10M, is that going to get a shot onto this 57? Oh, almost. This 57, no way is that going to be killed. I was going to say, that BA-10M should have killed it, but it's going to be unloaded into line of sight of infantry anyway, so the AT gun going down there. Unfortunately, it looks like Pixie's just kind of suffering from a little bit of a lapse of concentration, and the infantry, of course, dying on the top here, and now we're seeing units on the bottom side die almost before they get unloaded. And all of these units have now been completely dismantled by Karma. With the Valentines backing him up and the Strelki for pushing across the open, he can probably take the flag off of Pixy quite easily now. In the town, however, the Strelki DP will be under threat by the M4 there. Not much he can do about that. And I have no idea where this IL-2 is. Oh, it's all the way up here. It's flown up into the sky very, very high up. Anyway, ISU 122 is coming in. We do see one arriving. It's getting hit currently by the 6-pounder. That is eventually going to penetrate, especially if the ISU 122 doesn't turn to engage. And it looks like Pixy, well, he's trying to put it on return fire. Is that going to be enough? And the ISU's now turned, so that might cause side shots. It's under threat. The ISU 122s, I'm not a huge fan of them, and there it is going to go down. Because they are self-propelled and like fixed turret, it basically leaves them very vulnerable to side shots, and in Steel Division 2, side shots are the way that you kill bigger targets like that, and so the fact that it kind of puts itself in those situations is bad enough already. Nice use of smoke here by Karma to allow his close range infantry to get into cover, and he's also now using the mortars to hit the M4 and push that back from the town where it was also being a threat. So the Tankos getting into these trees is going to be tough for Pixy to deal with, because Pixy, other than the Sappers and the Flamers, doesn't have much to deal with Tankos, and the availability of Sappers and Flamers is pretty low. So Karma's already killed like a couple of the Sappers at least, and Voltages just don't do anything against Tankos, and you can see that happening there. So Karma's taken the offensive flag. For the first time in the game, actually, Karma's gone 13 to 11. Pixy had a really good start. He took a lot of ground, but it seems to be falling away from him. He has not many units left on the map right now, but he is still sort of playing aggressively into his opponent. Nueve on the way. AT gun takes out one of the M3Ss, but the M3S replies with the help of the Strelki DP. These Nueve squads will do quite a lot of damage at range to infantry, and they also allow you to bring in 2-star half-track, so you can see that chipped the Tanko Dasarniki quite well there. 2 M4A2s and the M4A376 moving up. The M4A2 in the town does manage to clean up one of the Valentines, and that is very, very important. The Valentines can die just as quickly to M4s. In fact, they die quicker because they're technically classed as light tanks. They can generally only take one shot before they die, one penetration. whereas an M4 will likely take 2 shots before it dies. In this case, the 45 manages to get the APCR shot in, and then job done. That's also relinquished his town objective, and Karma's noticed he's going to try and get some infantry across into the other side. I'm pretty sure that Karma was convinced there'd be infantry alongside the M4, but with the M4 going down, kind of reveals that there wasn't much more there, so good that he's taken advantage of that. The Tankos with the Avtos are still killing off these infantry just as quickly at close range. Oh, that 45 not going to get into position. So now, Karma making the same mistakes as Pixy did. It looks like things might fall back in favour of Pixy on this bottom side. It seems like both players just ended up overextending, and then their reinforcements have been sort of counteracted by their opponent as they continue to push in, which has allowed the counterplay. A good job by the Nueve to push through here and deal with the Straki DP. Without the veterancy, the Nueve with the 2 Thompson submachine guns really do a serious amount of damage. Also, the other thing with the Nueve is they do have an MG34, so once that starts firing, it does make a big difference in these close range engagements. 82mm mortars having to go at the Nueve further up. They might be able to take back the flag, but that mortar fire is not helpful. It's 45 moving into position. Zis 3 does take out the M4A 376. The Zis 3 in this position is actually really scary. It has a decent rate of fire. It can do a serious amount of damage if the APCR is turned on and off. This 45mm also now getting involved is going to use its APCR. There's also the Valentines moving up and engaging, but the Valentines I think they're firing at the M4 in the center. This 45 also trying to get involved in that, but not going to happen. So yeah, the M4 goes down in the middle. The Voltage is still holding their position, but a Straki DP moving in. IL-2 still hanging around, trying to get some strafing runs in. Avto at close range with the Nueve might be able to finish them off, but depends if Nueve can get another round of Thompson ammunition off. Nope, they're going to get pinned down. Job done. 45 looks like it killed another M4 here, but there is still the 3rd left. And 2 more now on the way. This has been a very, very bloody fight on this bottom side. You can see the wrecks from where Pixy pushed up, and now you can see the wrecks from where Karma pushed up. Crazy stuff. IL-2 picks off another half track. Valentine. Oh, lovely side shot there from the 45. Great stuff indeed. Now the Valentine's clear to clean up all of these half tracks. That's if the IL-2 doesn't beat him to it. Still 12-12 across the board now. Karma's lost a lot of tickets though. The initial push from Pixy did cost Karma quite a bit. And since we're on equal flatline income, there is no advantage in any phase in that regard. And so the fact that Pixy does have the advantage now in tickets could be something that's translated into a win. The P38 going to be microed through the middle of the IL-2s. If Pixy continues to micro that, he can likely shoot down the IL-2. That's going to be a weapon jam though, so no such luck. Got the M4A2 engaging the Valentine again on the bottom side. Can the Valentine get the shots off? The Valentine does have the decent rate of fire, but the M4's is just as good. Valentine's just a little bit quicker, which is nice. Valentine gets a penetration, M4 gets a penetration, but due to that health difference, the Valentine goes down. Right, Bofors has been brought in on the side of Pixy, and that IL-2 KR is not liking that. Takes a lot of damage very quickly. Already has the oil leak. Half track is taking the Molotovs from the Tankos, which is allowing the Voltages to get the shots off. Nicely done. Zappers moving into that top side, 15-9 for Pixy right now. And Pixy has managed to use his topside advantage to gain a lot of ground. And yeah, holding this flag is really, really good. Karma's going to be bringing in this Straki just to take that back quickly, which might work. It depends how far up the sappers decide to go. This M4A2 in the open's not having much fun. 245 mils shooting it. to take out the half-track in the meantime, but yeah, they're going to keep engaging that and force it back. On the bottom, the Nueve, they pushed up, they got caught out. Now it looks like Karma's built up again, and there's going to be another counter push. The big thing here is Karma's managed to maintain control of the town for now, and the previous pushback from Pixy, the counter-attack, just didn't really work out. Does have the sappers in position now, does have more Nueve, might manage to make it work. Now the M5 Stuart has moved in to capture this flag. The sappers are now isolated. Not sure quite what he can do with those sappers now. They're going to start to engage the Strelky DP up there, but that's only going to reveal their position, and then Karma might be able to strafe them. There is of course the P38 hanging about, but he only needs to bring in some AA, and he can use his own IL-2 close to his spawn. So with this fire support, the Nueve gonna get taken out. Looks like the pushback into the town was finally successful, but Karma's got a lot of units moving forwards here, and Pixie's rushing to defend it with more M4s. 2 M4A 376 on the way. One's heading to the town, one's heading to the bottom side. Those do have the HE, plus all the machine guns that the normal M4s have. And they've obviously got the extra penetration. Not that it matters too much against the 184th rifles, because the 184th likes to rely on their infantry a lot. This M4's got to be a bit careful. Did just take a shot there from the 45. Will the 45 do the job? Not quite. It's taken a couple of APCR shots, so not enough damage to kill the M4. The M4 on the top, though, does get killed off in the open. And these sappers, well, they're gonna try and hit the bazooka shot onto the Stuart, but it just missed, and now the Strelky come in. They're gonna be able to finish the pin onto the sappers, and that will likely be a surrender before the sappers throw their grenade. Oh, beautiful kill onto the M4. These 45mm AT guns have been doing so damn well. The IL-2 managing to come in and get the strafing run regardless of the P38 being in the sky. The 37 has come in on the top as I suspected. Half track does get taken out. Strelky were overpushed, get killed off by the sappers. Pixie's still in the lead with the 13-11, but we can see that there is a lot more on the ground for Karma right now. IL-2 does go down. If the 37 can reply with a kill onto the P38, that wouldn't be too bad. Can he get the kill? No. P38 is going to get out alive. Took a lot of damage in the process though, so that's going to be out of action for a while. So Karma's got all of the tankos here, plus a couple units of Strelky just sitting on that flag. He's now going to be going for the center flag, and there's not really too much Pixie can do to stop him right now. On the bottom, both players have decided to have a little break, neither really continuing their push into the other. Although the Nueve here getting taken out by the tankos does leave this town quite vulnerable to the Avto Tanko Desaniki, because the tankos, if they take out the sappers, it leaves them the armor vulnerable. The armor can't get that close to the buildings without being at risk. Oh, big bombing strike comes in from the P38. Unfortunately, that's not really going to be enough because it missed the mark. Those bombing strikes are really, really good. If they hit the infantry, they can probably kill like an entire squad from full health. Especially if the infantry squad's moving. Anyway, Karma moving up here with the sniper has revealed there's really not that much in his way. And with that infantry squad going down, the Strelky will be able to get into the town nice and easy and capture this flag. Another kill for the AT gun. Another M4 burning there. These AT guns. Pixie's just losing so many M4s to side shots. And even frontal shots. These 45s do have some decent penetration. Now the IL-2 coming with the strafe and run onto the M3A or M4A3. And I think the biggest problem here, or that's another side shot from the APCR, is that the M4s are being placed too far forwards in this light cover. So they are getting revealed by the infantry, and then the AT guns have free shots as soon as they get into line of sight. Whereas what you'd probably want to do is have your infantry out in front with some recon and then go from there. But I feel like Pixie's already getting pretty light on infantry and is having to start relying on his card of volunteers. And there's only one card of these. He probably has like, I think it's like 27 you get in Phase C. Can't remember. There's plenty of infantry availability left. They're just not like that good quality infantry. They can screen for the tanks, I suppose. And if he brought in enough on this bottom side, then maybe he could make the tanks that he's got here work. But of course, Karma, he's now brought in 280 mil off map, and that's going to do a massive amount of damage to the infantry here, as well as potentially killing the tank. So Karma's brought it back to 12 to 12. He's still at a deficit of tickets, but of course Pixie is lacking units on the ground right now. So as you can see, Karma's brought in his Avtos. He's purposefully stopped them on the road here, and the reason for that, of course, is that he does want to stay out of range of the main gun of the M4A3 before the artillery comes down and pins it. And as soon as that's pinned, he can rush in with the Avtos, get the kills onto the infantry that remains, and secure the town. Again, another shot hit the M4A3 as it moved too far forwards. Nice bombing strike coming in here. Oh, triple kill. Oh, baby, a triple. Nice. Two Strelki and the sniper going down there. But of course, Karma already has more in his way, and these volunteers really aren't lasting too long. Big old off map coming down. That's hit this town very hard. The Avtos haven't started moving. It looks like Karma's kind of forgot he had those in position ready to go, because the timing on that could have been very, very nice to surrender all of those units in position. The M4A3 actually got stuck on those buildings, so that would have been good. Bit too late now. The M4A3 will likely recover before the Avtos get in there, as well as those two infantry squads that are pinned down as well. Yeah, you can see that they just haven't... He's put them on return fire even. Oh, that's so cheeky. Because it looks like, due to the front line, that the infantry is being killed. Whereas now what's going to happen is Karma's going to push in there with his infantry, and then they're going to get killed off at close range by the volunteers and sappers. That's really, really smart. Anyway, the wall of volunteers, they're trying their best, but with the snipers engaging them from a distance, it's actually really tough for Pixie to deal with. Okay, so the Avtos, they're getting hit hard by the M4A3. One of them gets killed before it unloads. Now see the LA5 FN come in with the 50 kilogram bombs, going to be chipping the sappers in the open. These 45s, I don't know if they're, like, they must be on return fire, because there's no way they wouldn't be shooting at the half track. Maybe it's just bugged out in the replay, I'm not sure. That half track actually has shot onto the 82mm mortar. That's not good. Karma actually notices too late, and the and the mortar goes down. Now the strafing run coming in from the LA5FN. The sappers will take a decent amount of damage in the open. IL-2 is going to be going for the 155mm off map, and the off map has been dropped. The Avtos that were pushing up did get killed off pretty hard. Yeah, well, I think both of the squads that eventually unloaded did go down. And half-track's just continuing to push through. The AT gun does finish it off. Pixie's still making some good plays here, but I feel like he's kind of ran out of steam. The volunteer wall on the top side's really not going to get anywhere. If anything, it's just preventing Karma from pushing forwards for the time being. He might be able to make a play on the bottom side. If he has a tank and maybe a few more infantry up his sleeve, he might be able to get through this off map and do some serious damage, but we'll wait and see. M4A2 engaging the 45 does take that out, so that's one less AT gun to worry about at least. This is some good off map, really good off map. I think Pixie's going to go, he's going to go for the fast move with the M4A3. Going to use a tank, try and get the surrenders. If he can, he will take the offensive flag and put himself back in the lead. We'll see if he can make that happen. There is an ISU 122 on the way to try and prevent him from doing that. Oh, Pixie's actually called it off. Oh, that is a shame. He's going to bring down another off-map and do it again. Okay. Didn't want to risk any of that infantry not being pinned or recovering in time that he loses his M4A3. But in waiting, the ISU 122 is going to get into position, and that's going to prevent Pixie from making that push that he wants to. The volunteers are on their way. Another M4A3 to the bottom side. The M4A2 does go down. Was that another kill from the 45 AT guns? Those have been absolute MVP this game. Sappers in the open go down. There is the Bofors, the GMC Bofa unit. Will do plenty to make that IL-2 fall back. Here comes a bombing strike from the P-38. Oh, lovely stuff. Takes out the AT gun and the sniper. Off maps hitting this infantry very hard right now. Can Pixie capitalize on it? That is the question. He's driving forwards with the M4A2 to get the last off-map strike down, but also use it to surrender. So this is really nice. In this off-map, he might kill off this 82mm mortar and the enemy off-map, but this off-map, of course, has probably already been used up. He is finding these surrenders. Yep, he's managed to get all the way up into the face of this ISU 122. The ISU does take out the off-map vehicle, but the M4A3 still has a good chance of penetration, maybe. I mean, that's what, a 1,000 meter range engagement? Yeah, he does get a penetration there. We can get another shot off. That'd be great news for Pixie. He's managed to also get the volunteers into position. Okay, off-map kills off Karma's off-map. Karma's off-map is coming down though. The volunteers being in position here does give Pixie the 13 to 11 for a little while. And as long as Pixie can hold on this top side whilst continuing to contest the flags on the bottom side, Pixie's still very much in this game, even though it was looking dire for a second. Again, he's still reliant on the volunteers and tank support. That's pretty much all he can use at this point. Nice. Volunteers taking out one of the Strelki DP. Can he do it? Can Pixie finish this off? 37. Firing away here. Supporting the Strelki. That's not good news for those volunteers. And the BA-10M going to be able to spot these infantry squads. The volunteers can't do anything about a BA-10M because it's closed top. So, yeah, unless they have an AT grenade or bazooka, nothing they can do. Now an M4A2 backing up the wall of volunteers. The volunteers have used up all their machine gun ammunition, so they're reliant on their 300 meter M1 carbines to actually do damage at this point. The DB coming in with the bombing strike. Well, if that hits the mark, that could be some serious surrenders, but nope, misses unfortunately. If that had landed just a little bit closer, pinned down the Avto and the Strelki there, that could have been great stuff. DB is in risk of being shot down by the IL-2, does go down. LA5FN getting hit hard by the Bofors. Probably not going to die though, the LA5's very fast. And this IL-2 is probably going to get out as well, just due to its sheer durability. The A10M. Let's go down to these tanks on the bottom side. Back to 12 to 12. As Karma takes back his side of the town. Now Pixie's in trouble because there's 2 units of volunteers and they've got to try and deal with Avtos rushing him down. The ISU 122 sitting on the road. The ISU has been penetrated once already, so if this AT gun gets into position and then gets a second penetration, the ISU 122 will go down. Of course, the M4A2 and the M4A376 here as well also have a chance of getting the job done. These infantry guns can certainly hit the armor with HE, but they're not like an OB, they don't have the heat round to use, so the M4A2 is pretty much safe there. If they'd actually stopped and started firing at that infantry gun, they probably would have killed it off. I've no idea where this Bofors is going. That is a very risky position for it. On the top, volunteers actually have made ground so far. It looks like that's mainly due to Karma relying on shorter range infantry here, like the Tankos and the Avtos. Once those volunteers get to those units, it's going to be trouble for Pixy though. DB coming in again with a bombing strike. The ISU-122 is actually pushing through here in the light cover. Probably going to get a shot onto the Bofors. I'm surprised that Bofors is so far up. On the side of Karma, his 3-star 37s take out the DB. Don't think the DB managed to get its bombs off, so that's quite significant. Avtos have been found, or they've engaged. But it does manage to keep them in cover. Now we see on the bottom side, Flamers moving forwards. Volunteers have made quite a lot of ground, but the Staroki DP, 2-star Staroki DP, at this medium range engagement, the Volunteers, it's a tough spot. ISU-122 is going to back off. I mean, if Karma identifies that Pixie's very reliant on these volunteers right now, he doesn't have to be scared of his armor placement whatsoever, because there's nothing that can really kill it other than the AT gun. LA5 coming in with a bombing strike, does hit those volunteers nicely. These two tanks, they're doing a lot of damage to the Staroki DP. Staroki DP did take out the infantry in the open though. Both the Flamers on the bottom side also died. It looks like these volunteers now getting hit by infantry guns. The Avtos engaging volunteers at close range. I mentioned how that would be tough for the volunteers to deal with. Of course, the volunteers do have the M1 carbines and the 3 Stens, so they're not exactly ill-equipped to deal with Avtos at close range, especially if they outnumber them. But the Avto's still gonna certainly not make things easy. That's actually 4 infantry guns here for Karma. He just backed himself up completely, and I think that was a really good response when he saw the wall of volunteers up on the ridge. And you can see like the volunteers were pretty much all engaged because they all ran out of machine gun ammunition. This M4's actually getting quite far up. Going to get a shot off onto the rear unit of infantry of Karma. Things 12 to 12. But slowly but surely, Pixie's infantry is getting taken out. And there's probably the remainder almost of the volunteers now coming in. Flamers going to have to be used instead by Pixie here. But if the Staroki DP and Avtos get unloaded, then they'll completely outnumber the tank, or not the tanks, the 2-man squads there. And that's a lovely kill. The M4 goes down. I think that was the Avto there. Yeah, they backed up into that Avto squad. And the Bofors manages to get out, but the M4 kills, or gets killed by the 45 again. Those 45s. Seriously. That has been the killer for Pixie. So much armor lost to those AT guns, and Pixie realizes the bad position he's in, and although he was at a ticket lead at that point in the game, 35 minutes, 21 seconds, Pixie surrenders and Karma takes the victory with a positive KD, which really tells the story of the game. The 4,335 kills to 3,185 losses. The infantry engagements were relatively even, I would say. But it was the loss of those M4s that really made a big difference. And the IL-2s, taking out the off-map big aircraft at the start, that is tragic for Pixie. This was a big loss. And he still managed to make a lot of ground, regardless, but still, that's some serious points going down there. The M3S, great counter to the abundance of half-tracks as well as the M8s. The M8s were also countered in the early game by the M5, so the 184th here really showing up and making sure that he got the kills with the M42 45mm AT guns was super important. So yeah, this Avto killed the M4A3 and the M4A2 as they backed up. This 145 hill killed 3 M4A2s. Another one there. The ISU-122s did actually manage to get some decent kills in there. I was a little worried that those ISU 122s would be brought in and then they'd like suffer to pay themselves off, but if they can get like 3 armor kills, then that's more than enough. Good use in the early game by these M4s. Looks like they managed to clean up quite nicely there. This one managed to kill 3 Valentines. The Valentines are kind of a good counter to the M4I2s if they can be used from light cover, because they get the first shot off and they have the penetration to get through the frontal armor of an M4 quite easily. And then, you know, they reload faster than the M4s do, so they can get the second shot off faster and therefore get the kill sometimes. In this case here, the Valentines just didn't hit the mark, so as soon as the M4s penetrate, because they have light tank health, which is like way less than an M4, the M4s can one-shot them quite easily. Off-map use on either side was decent, but not really game-changing. And this P-38, the P-38 bombers, they didn't really come into play too much either, which is something that the second French can really get some good damage from. So I think Pixy, yeah, just the difference in that 1,000 points in the KD was coming down to these M4s, and without the M4s to support his infantry, the infantry trade is not too great. And yeah, Pixy just had a tough time in that one, and Karma takes the victory. And with the 2-0 victory, he's going to be moving on to the final. So congratulations to Karma for getting to the final of the Steel Division League Season 3. Commiserations to Pixy, going to be going into the 3rd place final, but nice games, very nice games regardless. And I think in this one it was a good demonstration of how one division can counter another quite well. And that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.